Hello and welcome to another Robots Retro Spaces video. This is for all you collectors. Today we are talking about the new God Phoenix. Today we'll be looking at the Japanese version and the non-Japanese version of the new God Phoenix. These are excellent toys with incredibly difficult accessories to find and to keep and to maintain, and yes, there's a whole nother challenge there, but I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys about this particular set of toys. Okay, so what we'll be doing is we'll be starting with the smallest version of the new God Phoenix. This is marked as Poppy's codename PB73, just like on the proof of purchase here, PB73. My version is a little bit ratty. It's a bit hard. It's a bit expensive to buy mint versions of these, so I've just made done with what I could get my hands on. As with usual, the Popy stuff, it comes with a nice polystyrene box with a nice polystyrene lid. The vehicle itself, as you would expect from Popy, is absolutely brilliant. Nice die-cast metal through the front here. With white plastic on the tail and on the nose. There is a bit of an ongoing issue with lots of these toys with yellowing. Trying to find one that's not yellowed is really tough, and you'll pay a premium for that. But this one isn't too bad, so I'm quite happy with it. Just like with the God Phoenix, you can put all the individual G5 vehicles into the toy. In this particular version, the little vehicle, G5 vehicles, are very small and very difficult to find. And they can hide in the vehicle. They can hide in the vehicle on that side under that wing, this side under this wing, and the back here, and then in the front as well. Oh, and also in the top. With the front, there is a mechanism here to fire the front vehicle out. You can just pull them back, and this one it's a little bit difficult to do, and then push the button and off he goes. Now, as far as the actual missiles go, these missiles on this version are the same as the DX version. That has been what I can figure out based on some research, as my one didn't come with missiles, but after looking at a lot of pictures and reviewing a lot of websites, I really do believe that is the case, that the missiles for this version are the same as the missiles for the DX version. Okay, so now we'll have a look at the DX version. Alright, so here we have the Japanese DX version. You can see here that it is slightly larger. This is the smaller original version. You can see from the comparison between the polystyrene boxes. And you can see here that just as usual with Popy, you get a lovely box and a lovely polystyrene box with polystyrene lid. This particular one I was lucky enough to get, even though the box is a bit worn. You still see here it's PB72, that's the Popy code, but you'll see this one here that the proof of purchase has been taken out, but win some, lose some. This particular toy came with some of the paperwork, which was really nice to see because I hadn't really seen this before. So you got your little pamphlets advertising other stuff that's being made by Popy. Lovely little colour brochures really add a little bit of character to the toys. And I also have here a pair of snail-eaten instructions, which was really nice, even if they've been eaten by a snail. Now, the toy itself has the lid, a little bit of restraining polystyrene, accessories, which are the little vehicles and the missiles, and then the toy itself. Now, as I was talking about with the previous toy, you can get a bit of yellowing on the you can get a bit of yellowing on the nose and on the tail. Once again, I just wanted to get my hands on one. I wasn't going to pay a stupidly high amount of money for one that was perfectly white when it's just really the toy that I really, really love. So just like with the mini version, there are places to put the vehicles. I'm lucky enough to have received 4 of the 5 original vehicles. I'm just missing one, but I will take what I can get. I'll do a comparison of the this version with the Singapore version accessories at the end of this video. So once again, we've got the usual stuff that you can look out for. Made in Japan. And then we've got the spaces for the vehicles. So under the wings, as you can see, in the tail, under the wing, and then also a lovely little pop-up feature. Which I think is absolutely fantastic. At the front, you got another space. You got the same gimmick for the firing of the vehicles out of the front of the head, and then you've also got the missiles down the sides here. This one's a bit, there we go. So once again, an exceptionally high quality toy. The fact that this was produced in, I think, 1978 or 1980, I need to double check that, and it's still in this good condition, and still a lot of fun, and it is heavy. Just goes to show you what Popy was making at the time. Now, Popy did make another version of this for the Japanese market. It's the red version, and I'm going to put in a screenshot of what one looks like now. So it's basically, as you can see from the photos, it's basically the same toy, but it's just in a red version, which is probably why it didn't sell so much and is worth so much now. So you'll see from that particular photo that I put in an auction that literally just happened a week or so ago, and I went for $20,000 US, which is crazy, but very, very, very rare. Now finally what we have here is the big God Phoenix. This toy is entirely plastic, and from what I can tell is made in Japan, even though there are no maker's marks on the toy itself. There were 2 versions of this released in Japanese boxes, but the boxes were slightly different. So I'm going to put in a picture of what the other box looks like now. I know someone who has the version with the different box, and we've compared the toys themselves, and the toys themselves are exactly the same. All right. Neither of them have maker's marks. On the bottom. I don't have any of the accessories for this particular toy, but I'm going to put in a photo right now of what the accessories look like. You'll see that the molds for the accessories are very different from the DX and smaller versions of the new God Phoenix. So I really don't think that you could actually make a mistake in telling the difference between the various molds for this version and the DX version and the mini version, because if you see here, you can see the size difference between the big version and the mini version. So this one here, I'm quite lucky. This one has not yellowed at all, which so I've got a nice white version. From what I can see, and I'm not 100% sure, this version of the box is more sought after than the other version of the box, but I couldn't tell you why. Right, so now what we're looking at is the Singapore version of the New God Phoenix DX. As usual, one of the biggest giveaways between the Singapore version and the Japanese version is a windowed box. It seems to me that the Japanese versions of these of the New God Phoenix, the smaller version and DX version, is a covered box, but with the Singapore version you tend to get a plastic box. That means that you get a polystyrene insert with no lid and retaining twisty ties to keep the toy in the box. The rest of this, just as with the God Phoenix, let me just get this out of here, just as with the God Phoenix, is exactly the same, except for the maker's mark. Because where it would say Japan, it is blocked off. So I'm surprised they didn't write Singapore, but that's where it would usually be. So that's why you know this one is not made in Japan, even though it's got Japanese writing. Just like with the rest of the features, same place for the accessories, and even the same gimmick on the inside there. So really, we've got an excellent toy all round, just like with the God Phoenix. There is a difference though with the accessories, and I'll talk about that at the end, so that you guys can see how to tell the difference between Singapore accessories for the new God Phoenix and the Japanese accessories for the new God Phoenix. Right, so let's talk about Japanese releases versus rest of the world. As far as I've been able to find, and I'm quite confident when I say this, the only new God Phoenix that was released outside of Japan was the DX version, this version. The smaller version and the big God Phoenix I've not found outside of Japan. I've not found them in any other language packaging other than Japanese. So I think it's pretty fair to say that there's only the one version that was released outside of Japan. Now, from the accessories perspective, there is a very small difference in the accessories. Just like with the God Phoenix, the molds are exactly the same, but there is a color difference. Alright, so I said I'd do a little bit of a talk about the difference between the Japanese accessories and the Singapore accessories. What we have here is we have the Japanese accessories on the right, as you can see here from the boxes that I have here. And we have the Singapore ones on the left. You can see here that the difference here is in the color of the red. The molds are exactly the same. I can't find any real difference in anything mold wise, just as with the God Phoenix. So if you're trying to decide if you've got Japanese or Singapore accessories, a good way to look at it is just to look at the colors. The Singapore ones tend to be a deeper, more cherry red, and the Japanese ones seem to be more like a Ferrari red, a little bit brighter. All of them are glossy, all of them look like good quality and feel like quite thick plastic. With the missiles, I can't really tell too much of a difference here. I've looked at the molds as one would expect, except to say that the Singapore ones might be a little more dull. yellow, which kind of makes sense because the accessories in general from Singapore versus Japan, even with the God Phoenix, they tended to be a little bit more dull. But the actual color yellow, very, very similar. You can sort of see here that the Japanese ones look a little bit lighter, but that's probably more because that they aren't as dull in the way that they look. So there we go. That's the difference between the accessories between the Singapore and Japanese versions. Since all the rest were not released outside of Japan, as far as I can tell, this is the only thing you have to look out for. Okay, so I just want to have a quick talk about this. This is the Academy New God Phoenix model. I made this and I have to say that this model is fairly easy to make as far as scale models go, but the results are absolutely brilliant. You have an excellent array of the minifigures. These ones I painted. I didn't do a great job, but I wasn't putting too much attention into it. And then you've got these excellent little minifigures. Yeah, once again painted. And you've got a toy here that is very, very, very flexible. You can have it with or without the stand. I have this with the stand because I have the lighting function, which actually lights up the bays here and the engines here, and also the landing bay on the inside here. So these are removable missiles on the side here, which are quite cool. And you see these lovely detail here with the cranes that drop out the toys. Sorry, not the toys, the vehicles. If you are in a position where you really want a God Phoenix and you don't want to pay the prices because they are quite expensive, I strongly suggest this model kit. You can have the model built in a day, and if you want to paint it, you don't even need that many paints. The sticker sheet that comes with it is absolutely excellent. All of this on the head is stickers. Looks good, doesn't it? So I would strongly recommend it if you want a God Phoenix, but you don't really want to spend the money. Just go and pick up the Academy model kit. You need very few tools, and you end up with an excellent display piece. All right, so there we have it. Thank you for taking the time to look at the video here. The new God Phoenix is an excellent toy, an excellent example of Popy, an excellent example of Japanese work, and I'm very glad to have a nice little collection of it. Thanks for watching Robots Retro Spaces. Please comment, please ask any questions that you may have. More than happy to answer them. More than happy to take extra photos if you guys want to see some extra photos. And as always, keep hunting, keep collecting. There are no shortcuts because when you get there, it is unbelievably worth it. All right, bye for now.